Hello everybody, it's TannerFishies here, back again with a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be discussing a pretty significant Ninjago news drop that was just made over on Twitter, courtesy of Ninjago series co-creator Tommy Andreasen. Now this guy, I talk about his tweets all the time on this channel, I will admit that, but that's just because there's so much going on with his Twitter account and with his character, it's very much worth analyzing what he says. For those that don't know, Tommy Andreasen over on Twitter tweets a lot about the future of Ninjago and is very keen on answering fan questions as long as they don't involve any spoilers or any type of undisclosed or at least not able to be disclosed information. And recently he answered a whole bunch of questions over on Twitter from Ninjago fans in one big swoop. The guy went through a whole lot of questions all at once, and I do plan on taking a look at a few more comments that he made over on Twitter in a couple of upcoming videos, so stay tuned for those. But he said something in relation to the character of Skylar that I couldn't help but overlook. Skylar as a character is someone who I really enjoyed throughout the entire Ninjago series. Skylar, of course, made her grand debut in my personal favorite season, Season 4, Tournament of Elements, and she's made a couple of appearances over the past several years of Ninjago being a thing. Most recently, she showed up in the background of Ninjago Seabound during Nia's funeral/memorial, whatever you want to call it. She appeared in the crowd alongside several other mainstay Ninjago characters. And with Skylar, I've always sort of desired to see more of her history, more of her backstory. Thankfully, Tommy Andreasen's comment about Skylar pretty much falls in line with those desires. So I think what we're going to do here is I'm going to read through the tweet really quick. It's very short, so it shouldn't take that long, and then I will give my thoughts on what he could potentially be referring to and just my general thoughts on this entire situation, this entire proposal of Skylar potentially getting more backstory in Season 16. So somebody on Twitter in this grand Q&A that Tommy Andreasen did decides to ask him, "Hey Tommy, is there going to be a backstory for Skylar, or at least her mother?" To which Tommy Andreasen replies, "Very likely in some form." So good stuff here. In terms of Ninjago history and Ninjago backstory, the Ninjago lore is already pretty complex as it is. However, like I said in the case of Skylar, there are a whole bunch of different storylines that they could totally tackle to build up her personal history. For example, the relationship with her mother and what exactly happened to the previous Master of Amber. For those that don't know, Skylar's parents are pretty complicated, all things considered. Her dad was of course Master Chen, the evil and maniacal Ninjago villain that made his debut in Season 4 as well, and her mother, all we know about her is that she was the previous Master of Amber. Skylar got her power of Amber from her mother, not from Master Chen. And that's pretty much all we know regarding Skylar's history, and especially in the case of her mother. We have no idea what actually happened to her, but we could be seeing more in Season 16, and I do believe that is going to be very likely, as Tommy Andreasen said. We know based on previous Ninjago news drops from Tommy Andreasen as well, that Skylar will have a pretty big role in Ninjago's future. What exactly that role will look like, again, we have no idea right now as of the recording of this video. But I've mentioned in previous videos how Season 16 could very well take her character and expand on her even more. Maybe even bring her to the main ninja team. With Nia gone, Skylar would seem like a suitable replacement, of course. Obviously a temporary replacement, but still, bringing in a character such as Skylar to fill that void would be beneficial not only for the ninja team, but for that specific character as well. Having her, quote-unquote, officially join the ninja team could very well make way for her personal benefit. We know that she and Kai are going to be interacting a lot in the future, and whether or not that will be in Season 16 obviously remains to be seen, but I do believe it's likely that Season 16 will be the next place we see Skylar, especially after her brief cameo during the events of Ninjago Seabound. I've always said that perhaps Master Chen had something to do with the disappearance of her mother. I mean, Master Chen, we've already discussed in previous videos, is quite the psychopath, no reason to put it lightly. He's done a lot of really questionable and really strange things in the past that are very harmful, not only to himself, but also the people around him. This includes desecrating serpentine graves, and the obvious, kidnapping and basically enslaving all of the elemental masters to fight in his tournament, and he steals their powers in the process. Long story short, we all know that Master Chen is not a very good guy. So if he did something to Skylar's mother, whether that be, imprisoning her on some island somewhere, or, God forbid, killing her in some capacity, I honestly would not be surprised. This is Master Chen we are talking about here, and considering his obsession with elemental masters and elemental powers, I would not be surprised if Master Chen was only interested in Skylar's mother just for that Amber power. The ability to copy all other powers, that seems like something he would have an eye for. Giving Chen the benefit of the doubt here, maybe he truly did love Skylar's mother, but personally I don't buy it. So you could dive into that history as well. The Ninjago series could very well tackle what exactly the relationship was between Skylar's father and Skylar's mother, and maybe express how her childhood was, how she grew up in that harsh environment, especially with her mother gone so early. It would explain why she was so persuaded to join Chen's cause, because depending on when her mother disappeared or exited her life, Chen would be the only influential parent out there for her. She didn't really know a whole lot of anything else aside from what Master Chen was teaching her, which, you know, just diving into that guy's brain, she's probably seen a lot of horrific things throughout her life. With Skylar's mother, there's always the possibility that she could have left Master Chen as well. I do like that idea too, because it expresses more of a desire to leave, rather than having something harsh or something terrible happen to her. Maybe she could have just left on her own terms, on her own accord. You would think that she'd want to take Skylar with her, but maybe Skylar's mother is just as bad as Skylar's father, who's to say? We know that elemental masters can be evil or darker in nature. I mean, look at Acronix and Crux, two of the most evil elemental masters of all time. Having an elemental power does not necessarily mean that you will turn out to be a good guy, as we saw with people like Moro as well. So all of this stuff could very well make for an interesting storyline. I expect there to be a couple of flashbacks in future episodes, especially if Skylar is going to be a mainstay in season 16. Maybe in fact a few episodes dedicated entirely to Skylar's backstory and her character, and maybe exploring more of who this character is. Who is the current Master of Amber, and what was her backstory like? I'm not one of those people that thinks that Skylar is a bad character simply because she doesn't really have an established backstory. I mean, I will admit having history for each of these characters would be nice, but it's not like we know everything about the 6 main ninja either. I mean, especially in the case of Jay, several of the ninjas' pasts need to be explored even more as well. And honestly, Skylar probably needs it the most out of any Ninjago character, and especially if she's going to be a mainstay in season 16, if she's going to be part of the main ninja team, it would be in the series' best interest to maybe explain her backstory a little bit more. Again, I don't think that makes Skylar a bad character by any means, but I do believe this opens the door to include more backstory for her character and build off of her even more. There's a lot that you can do with the character of Skylar. Her powers and her history leave a lot of options open for the Ninjago staff to take full advantage of, and I do believe they will once season 16 eventually does come out. Overall, guys, that'll pretty much wrap it up for my video here today. Nothing really too crazy going on here today, just a minor tweet from Tommy Andreasen, and of course I decided to ramble a little bit about it because Skylar, she's one of my favorite characters, and if we can explore her history and her backstory even further, I think that would be a fantastic idea, and I'm excited to see what the Ninjago series has in store for this character moving forward. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Feel free to leave a comment down below discussing what exactly you think is going to be going on in Ninjago season 16, and what exactly do you think this Skylar backstory situation is going to be all about. That'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and as always, check out the links down below in the description from other forms of social media. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Once again, you guys, my name is TannerFishies, and with that, I bid you farewell.